Well, welcome back to Crowley House Flower Farm. This week we're going to be talking a little bit about our top 10 favorite spring flowers to grow in the garden. I'm also getting ready to make a spiced rum cake, which is going to be like a bundt cake. And part of the reason is when you're watching this is New Year's Eve and we're having some guests over, and I thought it would be nice to have a little bit of a dessert. Christmas was very full here on the farm. We had my sister and her family here. We had lots of coming and goings just with other family in town. And now the house is kind of settled down and we can reset and just enjoy the quiet of the home. Even though I love a big full house, it's just a little bit slower pace, I would say. So I thought, what a better way to make this spiced rum cake and just be able to enjoy with the family and then enjoy the New Year's. And it's one of those traditions. My mom used to make bundt cakes, and I thought it would just be a really nice memory to have something like this. She got the recipes from her mother-in-law, which is my father's mom. And so it's just something that just kind of has a special memory. So I'm going to take you along as I make the bundt cake. I'm going to get it in the oven. And then Rilley and I are going to take you out to the little greenhouse, the little cottage greenhouse, and we're going to give you kind of our top 10 favorite spring flowers to grow for design work, for the garden, for just the pure beauty of it. And so we just thought it would be kind of fun to chat with you about that, and maybe you have some of those things growing in your garden. So if you haven't already, give us a big thumbs up, a like, and subscribe. We'd love to have you tag along here at Crowley House, where we go over things like homemaking, gardening, flower farming, all the baking and cooking and things like that. We just it's a family lifestyle. We would just love to have you along. We now do have Patreon, and so if you look below, we will have a link to that, and you can join us there. We would love your support. It takes a lot of effort and time, and my son Braden actually edits, and we pay him to do all this. So we just thought we would put that down below if you are interested in supporting our channel and our family and you enjoy the content that we give you every week. My sister and I wrote a book this last year, and it's Furrow and Flour. And so encompassed in that book is all about gardening. It's family recipes, family stories, homemaking, all the things tied up in this little book. For the next month or so, we are going to be giving away some ranunculus corms with the book if you purchase it. So the link below for the book will be here, and you can get your lovely corms in the mail. And I believe it's like a spring mix color. I believe it's a pastel mix. We have some orange, it's kind of like a light pink and like a bubblegum kind of color, and then a mixed spring mix of just light pastels. It's really pretty. Anyways, you can check that out as well in the link below. So here I have my dry mixture of all the spices. It smells so good here in the kitchen, but flour, spices, all the leavens, and then here I've got my egg, sugar, and butter mixture. And then over here is the last ingredients, which is the buttermilk, and it's 1.25 cups of buttermilk that we're just gonna kind of rotate all three of them into the stand mixer until it's nice and incorporated. Then we're gonna pop it into our bundt cake pan. So then I'm gonna pop it into a 300-degree oven for about 55 to 60 minutes, depending. My oven cooks really hot, so I gotta be really careful with it. But we're just gonna put it in a bundt pan that's been nicely oiled. I kind of go heavy on that. Sometimes I'll even do like a light dusting of flour on it so that it really releases when it's nice and cool. Here we go, we're gonna incorporate it all together. The kitchen smells amazing. It smells like all the spices and rum, which is not a bad combination at all. So I'm excited to take you out with us as well. When this is all done, we're going to take you out to the little greenhouse and have our tea and spiced rum cake. Yeah, it'll be a cozy time, and we'll talk about all the things that Rilley and I and Emma and everybody here on our farm love to grow in the garden for spring, and some things I'm sure you guys have things that you love to grow. We'd love to hear those down in the comments below. So leave us a little bit of a just a suggestion, even a variety that you like to grow as well. That's kind of fun to just banter back and forth and chat about what is coming in your gardens, especially this time of year. It just gives us something to look forward to, and that's why we're doing this. Is we're seeing little starts kind of pushing up, and got excited and thought, oh, let's talk about it. So for the rum glaze, I'm doing 2 cups of confectionate sugar. I'm doing a 1/4 cup of whole milk, and then I'm doing 1.5 teaspoons of just regular rum. It should be really light. I'm thinking the batter tasted really, really good. It kind of got vanilla and then all the spices, and then you definitely tasted the rum in it as well. So it should be really good when it comes out.
Everyone, we're just out here in the greenhouse enjoying all of the succulents that are slowly dying because it's a little too cold for them in here.
Not all of them are dying. They just need some loving.
They need some love and attention.
Well, that'll be like another episode.
We'll worry about that later.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we thought it's almost spring. Well, Christmas is officially over.
Yes, it is.
Winter has actually just begun.
Yes, it has.
So we're looking forward to spring already. So we thought it'd be nice to go through like our top favorite spring flowers to grow.
Yeah.
Specifically flowers. This isn't including any shrubs or other things that we like to grow in the spring. This is just florals.
Yeah, and so we thought we would just do our top 10 favorites-ish.
It's nothing new, but it's also just something that we love.
Yeah.
And we
Okay.
love to talk about and we're excited about.
So Riley, what's number 1 on the list?
Number 1 for me. So first of all, I gotta preface this. I am a spring baby. I am born in April. And so I love spring. So every March, when I see these going, because around Oregon, they kind of grow wild here in the valley where we live. They just pop up randomly in fields. And I love seeing it because I know that means that spring is coming. And that has to be daffodils. Daffodils, narcissus, are one of my all-time favorites just because they are one of the first things to bloom, always around Easter. And they're just so happy and cheerful. They're that bright pop of yellow on those gloomy days, and then when it's spring and here everything is so green, and then you have these pops of fields of yellow.
Yeah,
it's really fun.
pretty. And actually this year we're in a
La Nina.
No,
La Nina.
I think it's warmer. So we're really, really warm. So like today, I'm like even warm in this. It's very warm for us. So we can sometimes at the end of February start having and harvesting our first of our narcissus or daffodils. Some of the varieties we like to grow are a lot of times the doubles, or even some of the more fancy ones like the whites, the peach with the peach center in it, because those do better for us in like selling. So a lot of times in the grocery store, you can get the single variety that everybody can grow, the mass produced, just kind of simple.
The yellow
daffodil. The one that is the
bloom.
classic yellow daffodil, and they'll sell them for just, $2 for 10 stems.
So some of the favorites that I like to grow, I have some names. One of them is Thalia.
Athalia?
Thalia.
Thalia.
We grow it, and it's the dainty little white one. It looks like a star.
Yes, that one's pretty. Smells
love
really good.
Love dainty little daffodils. I think the smaller the heads, the better. They're really pretty, just really dainty. They don't grow super tall. They're rather a short bloom, but I really like them using in things like boutonnieres or corsages because daffodils don't need water after they have drained. That you can actually dry store them just like peonies. So they're really nice to use in design work because you don't have to worry about those wilting on you.
Yeah, because I mean that is a good thing too as far as what we do is being able to harvest and store them when they're still closed with just a little bit of color showing the skin has just broken slightly. That's when we'll harvest, let them drain, the little sap coming out, and then dry store them.
Yeah, and if you didn't know, you're supposed to pluck your daffodils, not cut them.
Yep.
Little tip for you. Another one I like to grow is Rilley. This is the one that has its cream and orange, and it has the little ruffles in the middle. Instead of having that little circle ruffle face, the whole thing is just a bunch of ruffles, and they're in oranges and creams. Really
We have
pretty.
another one that's similar to that. I think it's called Martha Stewart, actually. It's named after her. It's really pretty. I have it up in our circle gardens. It grows really tall. It's a little bit of a later bloomer. So there's early, late, or mid and late season on those as well. So it's kind of fun. And also, like if you're planting them, you can have some in a little bit more shade, some in full sun, and you'll also get a little bit of a season extension with it.
One of my ultimate favorites though is Sir Winston Churchill. And this is one that has 3 heads on it, and they're really tiny little heads growing on there, and then they have a lovely little ruffle in the middle.
Yeah, it's just orange, bright orange? Or
No,
is it-
they're
that's-
cream.
okay.
They're also cream and orange.
We grow so many different varieties, and we started planting them years ago when we just didn't really keep
Are yellow. I think
names
they're
or-
cream and yellow.
Yeah.
And they're like very soft, and again having just that ruffle middle. And they're really pretty, but instead of being one head, it's 3 little dainty heads, and I think they're just so precious.
So we're
Anyway,
moving on to
hellebores.
our second favorite one to grow is hellebores, and part of the reason is it is, again, just like daffodils, one of the first things to pop up in spring. It just gives you that burst of energy and a beautiful spot in the garden. You know, if you cut back the foliage in late fall, then you just get those beautiful spikes of hellebores that pop up. And we grow lots of different kinds. Some are doubles and some are singles. Some of our favorites, I believe, is black onyx. And that one is an all black double, beautiful one. You can find that one pretty readily in any kind of market, at any of your garden nurseries. Another one we planted a couple last year. My husband really likes hellebores, and that's something that we thought we would try our hand at seeding a little bit this year, because you can buy seed and plant them.
We have 2 winter jewels, which is a variety of hellebores, and the 2 are cherry and apricot. Cherry is very much like a true cherry pink, and they have a bit of a gradient in them.
They kind of have like this beautiful kind of cherry color, and then it kind of goes to the center as a little bit more creamy butter yellow. And then the apricot one has more of a yellow undertone. We planted them last year in a video, and I'm so excited. This year they're already starting to pop their heads up. We already have, this is like the end of December. So they're already, a couple of them are already blooming out in the shade garden. Beautiful. It just made my heart go, whoa, we're arriving, you know. So I didn't know that this year we're really warm, so everything is kind of coming on a little bit early, which makes you panic a little bit, especially if you haven't gotten seeding or starting things, but it all works out in the end.
Yeah, we already
So
have.
hellebores, if you have a place for them in shade, highly recommend putting a few in. I'm a sucker for all the colors, but especially those kind of different ones that you can find to kind of seek out different varieties that are kind of rare, not your traditional ones that you get maybe at a big box store or something like that. White is always good, and then also just the lime green. Both of those we do a lot of wedding work, and then the deep onyx or the black purple colors do really well for us as well, as far as using them in bouquets.
As a cut, they can be a little tricky. You have to cut them at the right time.
Okay.
When the seed head starts to form, that's when you can cut them, because before that they'll get a little wilty, not ready to go yet. I see them a lot in wholesalers.
Yeah, so what you're looking for is that the hellebore will put on this flower, and then you'll see kind of like where there's pollen and that kind of thing. And you want to wait for that to fall away, and then the seed head to start to form. And the flower itself kind of gets a little bit more
like more
papery.
woody.
Yeah, woody. So you want to make sure that you have that center bloom, and then the two blooms on either side of your stick, because normally they'll have one stem come up in the center, and then the two sides, and then you'll need to, you just have to wait for that center one to kind of do that, go through that whole cycle, and then it should hold really well for you. Okay, what's next?
Next is tulips. I think tulips are kind of nice to daffodils, what everyone thinks of for spring blooms, right? Like, they are very common. They're everywhere in the grocery store during spring because they're readily available. Especially here in Oregon, we have some huge tulip growers here.
So we try and grow things that are unusual. So a lot of times in the grocery store, you have like a single bloom, something that looks very just a traditional
tulips. Yeah. Nothing wrong with those.
And I think growing up, I mean, my dad would always take us to plant tulip bulbs in our little garden, and I always wanted black tulips, which he would go, come here, I'll give you 2 black tulips, which was just funny. He would just laugh about it. It's just like,
such a dad joke.
Yeah, it's such a dad joke. So I have always grown tulips for years, and I have them in the landscape, and then we have a little bit more of a mass production. Here in the greenhouse, we've got some grown in crates, and then we have some in raised beds, and we're planting out another variety that is been chilled for us. I think they call them a C5. And so they've been chilled for us, and then we're going to put them in the big greenhouse and some outside. So we should have really early, I don't know why you're laughing, but we should have really early tulips. Okay, so some of the varieties we're growing are, so we kept it really simple as far as our production. The ones in the garden, we generally will have like a parrot, doubles, just really pretty soft pinks.
Cupcake,
yeah, just gorgeous, more kind of the color palette of what we grow in the garden, I guess. So those we've had in for years and years. But this year, for the production side of things, we have a list of ones that we grew, and we kept it pretty simple. I think this year we have a little over 10,000 tulip bulbs, but I already did the math because that's a lot of times what we sell, and I don't want to be left with a whole bunch of tulips and have to discount them because they are kind of expensive to grow. If you check out our Shopify link, you'll see where we have some CSAs going that we are going to be shipping, and tulips will be one thing that we can ship out along with peonies and a few other things. So you can check that out if you'd like. We're going to have that available. It's really, really cool. And they'll just come, we're just kind of whatever is in season at the moment that will ship really easily will come to your house like a CSA, and they'll go all over. So
really, really excited.
Yeah, that's something new we're offering. So you can go check that out. I'll have it in the description below. So we have impression mix, late single mix,
my way of doing
double
it was
late
better.
mix, silver parrot, foxy foxtrot, queen of the night, which is the black tulip. We have parrot mix and a lily flowering mix so far.
So the ones I like to use the most in design would probably be the parrot mix and the lily flowering mix. I use all of them. Really, I do.
Mm-hmm. But for
those ones are like the specialty ones.
Yeah.
Especially I love the lily ones. Those are the ones that have the pointed out tops. And then the parrots are the ruffly ones.
Yeah, and we have some doubles in there and a few other things, but that's like the majority of the list of what we have going. But they're all in a lot of the shades that we grow, other than the two mixes that are like the single mix. Actually, those are still coming. We haven't planted those. Those are the chilled ones. Those are just kind of a variety of colors. Really, they're shorter in stature when they grow, and they're mainly for our mixed bouquet program that we do here.
Grape hyacinths. These are probably one of my favorites, and it's also one that I don't think is very common to grow. They're really tiny, but I love them. Not only are they super cute, and they're so dainty, and they look like little fairy, like prancing around, like fairy bells,
There's several different kinds that you can get, like a two-tone.
Yeah, there's pink ones, there's white ones, there's ones that are blue,
light
purple.
Blue. Mm-hmm.
Very pretty. I love them, but they're also medicinal. You can eat them, hence the grape. They're really bitter, but if you turn them into a syrup, like a simple syrup, you can use them in cocktails and like baking and fun stuff, and they do have a little bit of a grape flavor.
They do.
And they also are HP active, which means that if you add a citrus to them, they'll change colors. Isn't that cool? I know.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
Anyway, fun facts about grape hyacinths. I love them. Again, I use them in more like dainty wedding work, like corsages and boutonnieres and small things like that. And sometimes I'll get really tall ones and be able to use them in some like arrangements and things. But most of the time, they're just really for our own enjoyment.
Yeah, so they go great in the shade garden, and they'll come back year after year. Mm-hmm. They also, I mean, they pair really well with like snowdrops or anything like that, the woodland meadow type feel. So if you plant them in your grass along with like, say, crocuses or something like that, you'll just get that season extension that goes on and on. It's just beautiful. So anyways, highly recommend that for the garden or for your cut flower production. Okay, so the next thing is ranunculus. We grow a lot of ranunculus and you kind of get tired of them after a while. They are absolutely stunning. Riley says no.
I love them.
I do too. I love growing them. I can grow them really well. It's just one of those staples that we grow on the farm. Some of the varieties we love to grow and we sell the most of are white, oranges, and then kind of a soft pale pink. So those are our top three. And then following close behind would be like a burgundy color. Mm-hmm. And then, but we also grow like all the different kinds. We grow tons of different ones. Even the butterfly ranunculus are beautiful. Mm-hmm. Now, if you lived in a warmer climate, you can plant them out. I think it's a climate zone 9 and above. If you're warm enough, you don't freeze, you can plant them out in just straight into the garden. We plant our early crop in late September, October, November, and we're gonna do another one in December. Those will go into a greenhouse, and then we'll plant some outside in the garden to come up. We do find that if you plant them in our gardens, they do still come back. There's a chance that sometimes they won't, or not all of them will.
They're not as big either.
Yeah,
outside.
They're really short outside, so that's why we pull ours and then clean them, store them in the cooler over winter. We pull them back out, we get them all plumped up, put into the greenhouses, and then they come up beautiful and tall. Okay, next one.
Next one is anemones, which is another like crop staple for us here on the farm. These ones we are growing in our new hoop house, correct?
Yeah, because they can tolerate a little bit of cold. We're in zone 8B, which Willamette Valley.
Yeah.
But we can plant them outside. We just like to plant them under a tunnel just because we do get a lot of rain. Mm-hmm. You can also get hail in the spring, and that can damage them. So a lot of times, especially because we're growing more of the wedding colors, the whites, the kind of the antique, that one, I forget what it's called, but it's like an antique creamy, and it's got a little bit of lavender to it.
Albinos.
Yeah, the albinos, like we love those. Those grow really well for us. The black and white pandas, black center, white on the outside.
So I feel like anemones for me are the ones I get tired of. I'm kind of tired of them. Just because there's not as many varieties. I feel like they're not as versatile as ranunculus. For some reason, maybe this is just me and my design work, but there's something I've just been tired of lately. But maybe this year they'll spark some new joy. We are growing some different varieties this year.
I did pop in some new varieties. So anemones, what I love is the bright red, just like, 2 to 3 dozen of them popped in a vase in the farmhouse. I just love like the monochromatic of it. But mixing them sometimes kind of makes me feel a little bit, I don't know, stressed. I don't know what it is. It can kind of like, I love the monochromatic look of flowers, I guess. I'm a little more simple. It's funny because my house isn't necessarily simple. Like, I love that look, but just having a floral arrangement that's just like all one thing, I love. Like, it just settles me. That's what I'm trying to say. So the next thing on our list is irises. And irises are funny because they're not necessarily something we go to for a floral design aspect, even though we do use them in things. A lot of times it's in like a big showy arrangement or like I said, a monochromatic, all the same iris in a vase. Like
depending
beautiful.
on the iris.
Yeah, depending on.
Bearded iris for sure.
Yeah.
They're like definitely used more in like larger arrangements.
Yes.
Very showy flower. Sometimes again using just irises.
And we get a request for irises. I mean, it's a really short season. Some of the peach or the brown apricot colors are beautiful. We sell a lot of that color. We sell a lot of the blues, the light blues. Those are our most requested is the blues and the brown peach apricots.
We use a lot of Dutch irises though.
Yes.
In our mixed bouquets. Those are probably like our biggest.
Yeah, and again, there's a really light blue one. There's a two-tone, a deep
white
blue,
one.
a white one, a
yellow.
Beautiful. So we get, what?
Beautiful.
Why
did you say it like that?
I don't know. It's just beautiful. I don't know. So we get most of our irises from SCHREINERS Iris Gardens, and again, we work a lot with them, and so they've got the most beautiful irises. Again, there will be a link below as well with those.
The next thing is alliums, which I love. They are so whimsical, okay?
It's like the Horton Hears a Who type of thing.
Yes, they are just these big old balls.
Yeah, and there's several different kinds. This year we have a new variety, which I forgot the name of, the little tiny, I think it's called drumstick.
They're just these little balls, and they like float on top of everything. Because there's no foliage. The foliage, this is the thing, if you're designing this, the foliage at the bottom dies, right? You have these big green leaves that pop up, and then the big stem, right? And then the leaves will die off. So you want to plant them in the middle of a bunch of other things to hide those like dead leaves. But then you have these huge like guys, because they get what, like 4 feet tall?
Yeah, and we have I think we have Gladiator on the farm. They're huge.
And they are just these huge, massive purple balls that like float on top of your garden. And I feel like in the spring they just add such an element to the garden, like where it just looks refined.
Yeah,
like
it does.
It looks expensive, okay? It looks like you know what you're doing. She is like the really like the pearl earring, you know what I mean?
Is. And they come in all different colors, so even if you didn't like the purples and the blues,
they have gorgeous whites.
The beautiful white ones that are just stunning. The ones we have get about 36 inches tall, and the one thing you have to learn is that you have to plant something by it, like maybe like
peonies are a great thing.
Yeah,
peony foliage is gorgeous.
Yeah, it kind of comes up beautiful then. And so maybe a late blooming peony, something like that. Or some people do daylilies at the bottom of it because the daylily foliage is coming up and it accents really nicely. So that's an option. I don't know. We have a couple areas we need to work on this year as well, just giving a little oomph at the base of our alliums because we absolutely love them. So the little new ones that we have this year are called the drumstick. Those ones are easier for us to use in design work. They're smaller and they can add into a mixed bouquet. They can be used in tall arrangements if we want to. The big guys, those just, again, stand alone. I mean, they're beautiful in the garden and they're beautiful in a big, massive arrangement. They really do add some height and beauty. So the next thing on our list is sweet peas, and I think sweet peas are hands down, they should have been at maybe the top. Well, I think we kind of went through the list as far as when they come through the garden. Yeah. Sweet peas are one of those things that it was the very first thing I ever grew. I failed at it the first year, and so it's just one of those things that just kind of stays on our list as something to grow. In the garden, I love that sometimes the seed will just drop where it is, and then all of a sudden you get this just like sweet pea kind of climbing up a bush, a very English garden or cottage garden feel to it. We can not only use the sweet pea tendril, the green, for arrangements or like a bridal bouquet. We can also then use the sweet peas. We actually use them in mixed bouquets sometimes, the foliage and, when we're cutting it with the stems on, or the blooms on the stems, the foliage, we'll use that in a mixed bouquet, and we'll also use it in design work. So our most popular colors, the two-toned kind of lavender, creamy lavender whites, those all sell really well for us or look really good in bouquets. Anything, again, in those colors of blush, pink, cream, white, lavender, purple. Those are all great ones for us. So we kind of keep coming and coming and coming every single year. That's what we plant. This year we have King Ransom, thanks to one of our viewers. They sent us a lovely package of them. So we have some King Ransoms, which are just a gorgeous mauve-y antique kind of,
It's like a pink.
it's a kind of like a salmony pink color, but more like an antique color. I don't know. It's really pretty. So those are
like
on our
brownie
list.
pink.
Yes. Number 10, the last would be our peonies, because peonies are one of those show flowers. They're kind of along the line of roses, peonies, sunflowers, lilies, you know, those kinds of things, where they're like in a mixed bouquet or in just standalone arrangements or in the garden. They just have that wow factor. So we added those to the list. Some of my favorites, I think I like coral charm because it is such a robust plant in the garden. They can get kind of tall for us. They can get almost 3 feet, 4 feet tall.
Yeah.
The foliage can for us, which is kind of cool, but then you have to know you got to plant those towards the back of the garden. The foliage is really nice in the fall for them. They have a lot to offer. You can dry them. We use them in our dried bouquets in the fall, and they do still have a really sweet smell to them, even dried, which is fun. And so I think coral charm is one of our best dried ones. The whites don't dry very well, but anything that's like the burgundy, so the pink ones like a Sarah Bernhardt dries amazing. I think we have Big Ben, which is like a red color, dries really well. Any of those kind of colors do really well, but the whites, anything with white or cream, they just turn brown. They're kind of gross. But yeah, so what we're looking for in the garden is that it has almost like year-round interest, like the hellebores with the foliage. The sweet peas, you can use them more than one way. The, you know, peonies, you have the bloom that will bloom beautiful in the garden, then you have the foliage in the fall, and then any blooms that you save or cut early enough, you can hang and dry to use in fall wreath making. So these are the flowers that we every single year plant and make sure they're part of our garden and part of our cut garden production for our design work here at Crowley House. Anyways, I hope that was
helpful.
Yeah. I mean, we would love to hear from you guys. Leave us a comment below. Let us know if there is a staple that you grow on your property, in your cutting garden, in your gardens, home landscape, whatever it is that you're growing. We would love to hear from you.
Anyway, hope this was nice. I'm starving and I need food, so
Okay.
I want to eat this cake.
Okay, so I'm gonna go run in. I started some tea. The cake is ready. I'm gonna bring us back some. Okay, so I'm gonna run inside and grab our tea and our cake, and I will be right back.
Okay. Cheers! Ah!
That is nice.
I'm gonna get another slice.
We're just gonna have this for dinner. Well, I tell ya, until next time, much success in all you do and grow, and we'll be seeing you shortly back here at Crowley House very soon. And don't forget to check out our Shopify link down below for all the new goodies that are rolling out. And
We have our CSA going out. We have some classes and some other fun things. Of course, our book is on there with also some goodies added into there. But yeah, much success in all you do and grow, and we'll be seeing you again here at Crowley House
very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.